What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. We are going to get started. I don't want to keep y'all here for my students that are here already. I don't want to keep y'all here all day. I know y'all got stuff to do. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Okay, we're going to be talking about pedicuring. Hello to everyone that is on TikTok. If you are on TikTok or on any other platform, you're going to want to come over to YouTube so you can see the slides, okay? And you can see everything that we are talking about today. Otherwise, you just get to listen, okay? Hey, Ty. Hey, everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this lesson today, okay? So first and foremost, we are talking about pedicuring today, all right? So pedicuring is one of my favorite things to teach, not necessarily one of my favorite things to do. However, you can make a lot of money with pedicuring, okay? So pedicuring is one of those skills that you must master if you're going to be a well-rounded nail tech, okay? So today we're going to talk about why you should learn pedicuring, okay? We're also going to talk about equipment that you need to perform pedicuring services, all right? We're also going to talk about the different types of multi-use and single-use implements and materials that you guys need to be able to perform pedicuring services, okay? We're also going to talk about different products that we use in pedicuring. Let me make sure that I can see everyone's comments, if there are any. Okay, there we go. And what we're also going to, let me move this forward. Oops, sorry, y'all. We're also going to talk about the steps to pedicuring. Hey, Angel. We're going to also talk about massage as well as pedicures that you may or may not be able to do on clients depending upon their sensitive health considerations, okay? And then we'll talk about disinfecting, okay? And disinfecting practices because if any of you have taken the state board since they made the changes, you will notice that it's all about disinfection, okay? And one of the things that gets the least amount of love when it comes to disinfection is the pedicure chair, okay? So that's also something that we're gonna discuss today, okay? So why do you need to learn about pedicuring services? Well, number one, it is one of the most lucrative services that one of the services that you will see perform the most in salons outside of nails. Okay, so pedicuring and manicuring or acrylic nails are your top two services. Okay, pedicuring and acrylic nails. So you guys, if you're not doing pedicuring, you absolutely should be. Okay, it's where you're going to make a lot of the money that in the beginning that you're going to make in your career because you don't have clientele. You can double your income by just adding pedicure services. All of your clients get pedicures. If they get their nails done, 90% of the time they get their feet done too. So if you're one of those nail techs that says, I don't do feet, I don't like doing feet, then you might want to try to get over that. Okay, because this is where the money's at. Okay. Now, what is a basic pedicure? Okay, a basic pedicure. We're not talking about anything outside of basic at this moment. Okay, so a basic pedicure, first of all, it's a cosmetic service that we perform on the feet as licensed nail techs or cosmetologists. Okay, so mani meaning hands and pedi meaning feet. So manicure versus pedicure, that's the difference when you say the word. So what does a basic pedicure include? A basic pedicure is, some people would say that their basic pedicure includes certain things versus others, okay? But in general, okay, generally speaking, a basic pedicure is simply trimming and shaping the toenails, okay, and then polishing them as well. And then also exfoliating the skin on the feet and the legs, okay, below the knees. Let's stay away from anything above the knees, okay? And then also performing a foot and a leg massage. All right. Anything outside of that generally is not considered a basic pedicure. You would be need to upcharge or charge more for anything else that you do. Say, for instance, hot towels, stones, things of that nature. Okay. Now, what is the importance of understanding how to do pedicures, or the importance of doing them, or in general? Okay. So lots of clients, for many clients anyway, a pedicure is a staple in their personal hygiene, personal care regimen. And it's considered a standard service that's performed in nail salons. Okay. So in nail salons by nail professionals, okay, and also cosmetologists. So nail technicians need to understand how to do a pedicure, or why it's so important to do it safely, because this enables you to add a very desirable service to your service menu. Okay. Chris says it's one of the most requested services. 100%. So, and on top of that, like, men don't get nails done a lot of times, sometimes, most of the time, but they will come and get their feet done. So when you are a good pedicurist, you can double your clientele just by adding it. Okay. It's also important for you to differentiate between different types of tools that are out there. Okay. And know how to use them properly, because some of these tools are being used improperly and causing clients injuries. Okay. The podiatrist said it was okay, but I was afraid I would get turned away. You have something going on with your foot, probably, that you're asking me a question about. If you guys have any questions, particularly about this subject, please go over to the YouTube so I can see it. I can see it pop up on my screen. I don't want to miss anything that you guys say on any of the other platforms. I'm only focusing on YouTube at the moment, so I don't get distracted. Now, it also allows you to perform pedicures safely and correctly. Okay. A lot of these nail techs out here are doing some very egregious things. Okay. And when I say nail techs loosely, okay, acrylic toes shouldn't be a thing. Okay. It should not be a thing. You should not be doing it. There's also razors and things of that nature that are being used on people's feet. Shouldn't be doing that either. Those are illegal. Okay. So we got to make sure that we are doing these things properly. Okay. Now, let's move on to our next slide here. So let's talk about the equipment needed to perform a pedicuring services. Now, when we talk about equipment, we're talking about the big stuff, like, the chairs and things of that nature, not necessarily products or anything like that. So a pedicuring station, you're going to need somewhere for your client to sit. A pedicuring station can be a lot of different things. All right. But first and foremost, it needs to have a comfortable chair. Okay. With an armrest and a footrest for the client. And an ergonomic chair for the nail professional. Okay, so what does that mean? Does it have to be one of these pedicure thrones like here in the picture? Absolutely not. It can be a simple chair like what I'm sitting in that has armrests. I mean, we don't want to necessarily put our clients in an office chair, but as long as it's a chair and you have something comfortable for the client to sit in, it can be considered a pedicure chair. Okay. Now, design and location for your chair is going to vary according to several different factors, such as the size of your area, the size of the pedicure station, the location of the water. Okay. And low noise areas in the salon, that's probably where you're going to want to have it so they can relax. And then the cost of the equipment and installation. So if you're not at the point where you can afford to have a pedicure chair that is a throne chair that has plumbing installed, you need to consider that, because you might pay $2,000 for the chair and it might cost you $5,000 to have a water source installed for your the location of where you want your pedicure chair. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of different options. It does not have to be a throne chair. Hey, Phaedra. I see you over there in on the YouTube channel. And then we have Carmela. She just popped in. She says she came from TikTok. I have a fungus on my big toe that is being treated by a podiatrist via an oral medication. She said it was okay for me to get a pedicure, but I'm afraid that a shot will turn me away. Well, as long as you have that documented from your doctor, most technicians would not turn you away. Okay, but I will say this: a fungus, if it is a true fungus, it's generally not safe for us to deal with it or touch it or anything barehanded, especially barehanded, without it being completely resolved. But you got to remember, a fungus will leave behind a stain on the nail. So I understand that some nail techs would probably turn you away. If it were me and you had a note from a physician stating that it was not a contagious type of fungus, because there are funguses out there that are not contagious, okay, like greenies and things like that. But if you had a note, I would definitely still do your pedicure. But we'll get to that, to other things pertaining to the health of the toes in just a minute. So performing pedicures, but thank you for that comment. Performing pedicures can be a serious challenge to the health and well-being of a nail technician, okay? Many of us develop serious and painful back conditions if you're careless about properly protecting yourselves through or ergonomics, okay? So you'll want to make sure that you pay attention to your body's positioning and make sure that you're working ergonomically so you prevent the risk of getting these back injuries, okay? Shoulders, arms, wrists, all of that is included when we talk about ergonomics doing a pedicure. So you always want to sit in a comfortable position, relaxed, unstrained, and then that's going to help reduce the risk of injuries to your back, shoulders, and arms, wrists, and hands. So, for example, leaning forward or stretching to reach your client's feet because your seat is too far away or maybe it's too big. This can cause you to have, injuries in these areas. So you want to take a minute to stretch before you start and after a pedicure to keep your body more limber and, in line. So you can be more resistant to these injuries that you could possibly get from doing pedicures. One of the reasons why I hated doing pedicures during my early career, the early years of my career, was because I didn't have a pedicure chair that made it comfortable for me to do them. So for instance, if I had a pedicure chair, which I've been seeing these all over the internet lately, the pedicure chair that the chair literally rises all the way up to the level of the nail tech's face so that they can, level to where the foot would be in the same position as a nail table. I would have died to have those back then. I'd do pedicures all day if you could throw your foot up on this nail table, because I'm more comfortable sitting in this chair, not a low chair. I don't want to have to bend over, bend down. So that would be ideal. So just make sure you are choosing pedicure chairs that give you the best comfort so that you can do your job comfortably. That is the most important part. Okay. Also the client, having a little bit of comfort as well. Okay. So the pedicure stool. This is important for the service provider to maintain healthy posture while you're performing the service. So the pedicure stool is usually low enough to make it ergonomically easier for the pedicures to work on the client's feet. Okay, so some of these stools come with a built-in footrest. Okay, you may have seen those before, where you sit down on it and then there's a footrest that comes out of the front of it. Or you may even have a separate chair from a stool from the footrest. Okay, but your chair must be comfortable and allow you to have ergonomically correct positioning at your seating position. Okay. Carmela says, thank you for answering. You're welcome, dear. I appreciate your question. Okay, so some other types of foot baths out there. You don't always have to have a pedicure chair that is plumbed. You can have a soak bath, and that's just going to be a container that's filled with water and a product to soak the client's feet. Okay, so this could literally be a basin, just a big bowl. Okay, now don't be super ratchet with it and pull out, the bowl that you cut potatoes up on Thanksgiving for. Don't get one of those. I mean, you could, but there are simple bowls or basins out there that you can get that are specifically made for pedicuring, that just contain no plumbing whatsoever. They're easily cleaned, easily rinsed out. They're not heavy. Okay. So I would highly recommend that if you are not in a position where you need or can have a plumbed pedicure throne chair. Okay. Also, it could be a large stainless steel, ceramic, or plastic basin that you manually fill and empty, clean, and disinfect after each client service. Okay. Now, let me read one of these comments here. So Lizette says, hello, so glad to be on this live tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all. Oh, I totally forgot. Today is Mother's Day. Ooh, I need to call my mama. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who is a mother as on this live, or yours, even if you're not a mother like me and you've mothered quite a few people. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for responding to my comment on your video about the history of nail technology. Oh, yes, I remember. As a person who deals with neuropathy of the feet, as a nail tech, what is the best way to give someone with neuropathy a pedicure? That is a very good question, Lizette. And we that would be reserved for someone who is a A&T. Okay, you would want to, as a nail tech, become an advanced nail tech so that you can work on clients with sensitivities. Okay. Hello, Christopher Mayberry. You wanted to raise your hand, or are you trying to ask a question? All right, so the portable pedicure units, these are your removable foot baths. And I really, 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 really like these. I have 3 of them at the school. They are called footsie baths, okay? And they have a little tray that comes out of it that you can fill with water, and then you can bring it over to the actual basin. I love them. Super easy to clean. The inserts can be taken out and thrown away, and then you just wipe down the bowl with your disinfecting solution, okay? Or whichever wipes or whatever you're using, okay? Now, of course, the whirlpool bath is going to be your pedicure chairs. We've already talked about those, okay? The disadvantage to those is they have to be in one spot. You can't really rearrange the salon. You better know exactly where you want to put them. They're very heavy. They're expensive. And when you are cleaning them, they must be fully clean. If you have a pipeless chair, or depending upon whether you have a pipeless chair or a chair with pipes, and I'll explain what that is in more detail in class. Okay. So, how long do you have to go to school was a question. In Georgia, it's 525 hours. Okay, to get a nail tech license. All right. Any questions about the what we've talked about so far? I'm going to talk about some more equipment here. So you're going to want to also have a pedicure cart. Okay. A pedicure cart can be anything. It can be one fancy like this on the screen, or it can be a simple rolling cart that you put your supplies on. Just make sure that it is keeps your stuff organized, and also make sure it includes a flat, hard surface on top so that you can place implements in or on it, and your pedicuring supplies and products. And then wheels, you're going to want to have wheels on it for mobility, okay? Unless you want to pick that thing up and move it, all the time. Okay, so moving right along. Electric foot mitts are great to have. These are very old school looking. I've never seen anything that looks like this in real life. But this is going to be for us they heat up, and it is great to add that special touch to your pedicures. Okay. Any type of pedicure that includes the use of these types of mitts is going to be an upgrade. Okay, it needs to be an upgrade. And meaning you're charging more. So after a foot massage, you may want to put on a conditioning mask or something, apply that to the feet. And then the feet are placed in a plastic wrap or a cover, and then you place the feet into the mitts so that it warms them up. So those mitts are going to aid in penetration of the product that you put on the client's skin, whether it's a mask or oil or anything like that. And then mitts add comfort, warmth, and relaxation to the service. Okay, so in case you don't know what a mask is, it's the concentrated treatment that you would put on the legs and the feet that's composed of like mineral clays and moisturizing agents, skin softeners, aromatherapy oils, things of that nature, so that it cleanses and exfoliates, tightens, tones, dehydrates, and nourishes the skin. Okay, so that foot mitt can help you aid in that as well. Okay. Zay has moved over from TikTok to the YouTube. Zay says you can visit the link tree in the bio to enroll in classes or shop Mary Negron Nails products. He is my biggest fan and my greatest friend. All right. So terry cloth mitts, what are they? You may want to add these into your pedicuring services. These are washable and reusable, and they're available for both the hands and the feet. And you can place these over your paraffin wax that you put on the feet. Of course, these are for use on feet. These are for on hands, but you want to use the ones for the feet. All right, so that the electric mitts can do their job. Okay, now paraffin wax. I hate paraffin wax. I hate dealing with it because it's a mess most of the time. But you can put it on the feet. All right. It's a great service to add on if you're going to be doing more luxurious services on your clients. And the way you use it is very specific. You want to make sure that you watch our when you're in class, make sure you pay attention to the manicuring section for my students that are in here. Miss Shayla does the example of how to do it, the demo of how to do pedicuring, paraffin wax. But when you do it on the feet, it's the exact same way. Okay, you apply it the exact same way. You put the mitts on, and then you put the feet in the heating mitts. All right, so paraffin, though, all it does is it really coats the skin, holds in that skin's natural moisture in the epidermal layers, and it promotes the moisturizing and hydration of the skin. Okay. Chris says, I'll do it if you pay extra for it, right? Exactly. Some of the things you need to be cautious of when it comes to paraffin wax on the feet, though, is you don't want to provide paraffin wax treatments to clients who are diabetic, have diabetic related problems, lesions or abrasions, or any type of problems with foot circulation or loss of feeling in their feet. Okay, this would not be good for you to put something like hot wax on them. So the skin of elderly clients tends to be more sensitive, okay, to heat or even thinner. So the pre-service wax patch test is something you would want to do if the client insisted on having it done, if they were had thinner skin. But make sure that you are applying this stuff safely. Superwoman said, do you have online classes? We do. And they said, yes, online class options are available. Okay. However, if you want a license, you must get online in-person hours. Okay. There are exceptions to that rule, but you would have to inbox me privately and we can talk about it. Okay. All right. So a couple of other things that you might want to add to your equipment is hot stones. Okay. Hot stones are, let me tell you, the best pedicure I've ever had. And I brag about this lady, and I don't know where she's at. She's probably went back to Vietnam because I can't find her. But she did the best pedicure on me a few times before she disappeared. And it was a hot stone pedicure. Okay. Hot stones. It feels so good. And it's hot, just hot enough where you can touch the client, the nail tech can still touch it. Okay. But this is an upscale service that is included in the massage of the feet and the legs. So the stones are kept warm. They're warm and smooth, and typically made out of a compound called basalt. Okay. But these provide more of a deep, penetrating, comforting heat that enhances and relaxes and increases circulation on your client. Okay. So make sure you test the warmth before. If you can't hold it, then they probably can't stand it on their legs. Now, Chris brought up something very important here. SC Nail Tech says that fake stones, so they're not porous. And this is important. You want to make sure that you're not using natural stones. Okay. What I mean by that is actual rocks, okay, that you've picked up out of a lake or a stream that got smooth. I mean, that's cute and all, but it has to be a synthetic stone. And the reason why is they can be disinfected. And this is the safest option for use on clients. Okay. Natural stones are porous, and so therefore they cannot be disinfected. So one of the things that is passed around a lot in nail salons is a type of infectious bacteria called MRSA, which stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, say that 3 times fast. So, and this infectious bacteria is highly resistant to conventional treatments like, regular antibiotics. Okay, so MRSA and other infections that are contagious even before they're contagious even before they become an actual lesion. So according to the CDC, even invisible lesions can allow transfer of these infectious bacteria. So dried and cracked heels, knees, rashes, abraded cuticles or clipped cuticles that you guys are always cutting, which you're not cutting cuticles, y'all. Y'all are cutting the skin off of people's flesh off of people's nails and leaving an open wound for them to be able to easily become susceptible to these bacteria and infectious diseases. So even peeling sunburns, okay, you want to be careful because these are all considered open lesions. All right. And we can't work on clients with open lesions. Okay. All right. So anybody have any questions about equipment that you may want to use in pedicuring? Okay. Anybody say now or forever hold your peace. All right. Jay Stoley says, I'm so happy when I see you on live. Thank you, darling. I am super excited to be back. Just a quick, to let you guys know where I've been. So, I have been in esthetician school and I graduated last week. So I'm actually taking my state board on Monday. Taking my state board on Monday. And that's why I haven't seen you guys. I've been MIA, okay? Because we are going to be opening up an esthetician school in the next year or so, okay? So thank you so much. That's where I've been, but I am done. I am back, okay? So to get back to our lesson for the day, and thank you guys so much for your congratulations. I really do appreciate it. You take your instructor theory in 28 days. Congratulations. I know, y'all. Make sure you tap the screen so I can get back in the algorithm because I'm not in the algorithm anymore. Nobody sees my lives anymore when I'm on TikTok. Okay. So let's now talk about the types of multi-use and single-use implements and materials that you use for pedicuring services. All right. Let's see. Why is this not moving? There we go. First and foremost, toenail clippers. Toenail clippers are, and we're talking about professional toenail clippers here. These are instruments that either have a curve or a straight jaw, and they are specifically designed for cutting toenails. They're usually larger than fingernail clippers, okay, because they toenails are usually larger, especially the big toe. Excuse me, the big toe is usually larger than the smaller ones. Some people don't even have a pinky toe. But they're larger and it's much stronger to cut those stronger toenails. All right. So they usually have a wider space between the jaws that allows you to cut thicker nails. And then they need to be able to be cleaned and disinfected after every use. So this needs to be a stainless steel implement. Okay. Preferably so that they can also be autoclaved. All right. These more high quality implements should be that you can disinfect and sterilize. You most of the time want them to be stainless steel. Y'all stop. I know y'all want to buy these pretty like rainbow, colored implements and stuff like this. These they can be sterilized, but they will tend to change color on you. If so, just buy the stainless steel ones. All right, so toenail nippers. It's a little bit different. Okay, let me see. I think I have my stuff here. Toenail nippers are a bit larger, okay, than toenail clippers. All right, so this is an example of a toenail clipper. All right, this is a nipper. It's not a cuticle nipper. Totally different. Okay, and this right here is, I love to use these because especially when you have clients that have really thick toenails, you can trim them start from one side and move to the other side. Okay, so that's the benefit of using these. Also, these open a whole lot wider here so that you're able to get, again, thicker toenails. Okay, these open up really, really wide. Notice that they have a straight edge here. Okay, not curved. And yes, it reduces the pressure on the toe when you're clipping. All right, when you take a toenail and you just chomp it, clunk, all in one once, it can actually split in a way that is very painful for your client. Okay, so these are of a more of an A&T style clipper that we use when we're working on patients or clients / patients that have medical issues. Okay, because you really don't want to injure their toenails. Thank you guys. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Emmeline. Thank you, Lizette. I appreciate you. All right, so let's move on to my next slide here. Okay, here's something very important. Always make sure that you do not trim toenail or nails too short. Okay, if you break the seal of the hyponychium, which if you don't know where the hyponychium is, you probably either haven't been to school or you haven't seen my video on it. Okay, the hyponychium is the skin underneath here. Some people's hyponychium is much longer than others, okay? And it extends past the tip of the finger. So you want to be careful, even with toenails, that you're not clipping too short, okay? Because it's important to have that hyponychium so that it can keeps our toenails from getting infections underneath the nail plate and into the nail bed. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are clipping the toenails. Now, a curette, all right? A curette is an implement with a little small scoop shape at the end of it. If you can see here, it kind of looks like a melon baller right here. Okay, if you've ever seen like what they use to make those little balls from watermelons and cantaloupes and stuff, that's what it looks like. And it is scoop shaped at the end so that it allows for more efficient removal of toe jam and debris. Okay, which is just skin under the toe. Sometimes it's usually soap or lint from your socks and stuff like that. Okay, that round part of the curette, that little round part keeps you from puncturing your client's skin underneath. Okay, so for instance, if you use a really, really sharp pusher or something with a sharp tip on it to clean out from underneath your client's toenails. For instance, something like this. Oh, y'all, I got something from this. If you use this end, right, something like that on your client to clean out from under your client's toenails, if you stick too far, you can actually make them bleed, and you don't want that, especially when you're dealing with clients with disabilities, or not disabilities, excuse me, special considerations due to their health, okay, like diabetes and things. So this one, being that it's rounded, you can actually kind of scoop underneath the fingernail toenail and not cut the client. Okay, so it is something that you may want to consider adding to your list of implements. Okay, you never want to use anything with a sharp point anyway, going up underneath the toenails. You want to be careful if you are. All right, now a nail rasp. Okay, let me put that back on my screen here. A nail rasp is literally a tiny little metal file. Okay, teeny tiny little metal file, and you can see with this and the one in the picture here, it just is magnified really close so you guys can see. But in this one that I have right here, this one it's more of a it's straighter. It's got a tiny little curve to it. But what you do with this is if you've ever noticed, a lot of times toenails are kind of jammed down into the toe, right? The skin kind of is really protruding over the toenail sometimes, okay? So with something like this, it can help you get into the corners of the toenails where it might be sharp after you trim them, because you may not be able to fit a file under there, okay? Sometimes it's difficult to put an actual file underneath a client's toenail to be able to shape it and file it like we do with fingernails, because they're so, we always clip them short, or we should be clipping them short. So that is going to make it easier for you to trim the sides or the corners of the nails after you cut the nail short. Okay, so when you pull it, you're not filing like a nail file going back and forth. You're kind of laying it into the corner of the client's toenail and then pulling away. Okay, pulling away. Does that make sense? Okay. Hello, wanna be natural. All right. So you guys remember that I'm in Georgia, so I'm teaching from Georgia. Some states actually ban these types of some certain types of implements. So be very careful. Make sure you are not dealing with ingrown toenails. Okay. We do not deal with ingrowns. Okay. If it's an infected nail, medical treatment must be performed by a physician. You are not a physician. I don't care what all these nail techs on the internet are showing you and telling you. Y'all stop performing surgery on these clients, because that's exactly what y'all are doing when y'all are pulling out those ingrown toenails. Okay, it's illegal for you to do so. It is beyond your scope of practice. Okay, now pedicure nail files. This is, or a pedicure file, basically, foot file. All right. When you're when you're filing on a client's nail, usually the client's nail is going to be thicker. Toenail is going to be thicker than a fingernail. All right. Usually. So you'll want to use a nail file on the client's toenails. Sometimes just a regular schmegular degular emery board is not going to cut it. You may have to use an actual acrylic file, but something with more of a medium grit. All right. And then finish it with a fine file to kind of seal the tip of the nail so it's not raggedy, okay, or ragged. So metal files are really great for pedicuring. I love these types of metal files like this, okay? These are very thin and can get underneath the toenails very easily, and they can be disinfected and sterilized, okay? Now, a foot file, meaning a pedicure paddle or something like that. These are basically just large files with a handle on it, okay? In my school, I teach my students, because these can be a little bit annoying. You got to clean them. It's basically a file. Just use a standard file on the bottom of a client's foot. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay. Using a standard, if you're going to use that's in the picture, just use a standard file, and you really get in there really good with a hand file, just like you can with one of these foot paddles. And then you throw this away when you're done. Just throw it away. Okay. So that, and that's what I like to use on a client's foot that needs to be, some of the callus needs to be taken down. All right. So these come in different grits. If you do get one like this one has a peel off file. Okay. So you can throw that away and then clean the handle. But I just prefer to just use a regular file. Why not? These have to be properly disinfected in between each client. Okay. And they are single use. All right. So you're going to throw that file, black part of the file away and clean the rest of it. Sanitize and disinfect the rest of it. Now, what is not allowed, and I have these here for teaching purposes, okay? What is not allowed are let me make my screen big, okay? Because you can use a file, but what you cannot use is this, okay? This is a literal razor, all right? Or there's the other one. I don't have my other one here. It's at the school. But these, you cannot use these on clients' feet. Why? It's basically a cheese grater. It is cutting the client's skin, opening it up, and making it susceptible to infection. Okay? These are illegal in every state. This is a medical tool. Doctors use these. You do not. Okay? Another thing that you see a lot in nail salons that is illegal is the I forgot what this is called. Chris, tell me what this is called. I can't remember. These are illegal. This is literally a razor blade. Okay. And I'm so scared to even put them together because I always cut myself. So this is a Credo blade. That's what it's called. So it's a literal blade, okay? These are not legal, okay? And then they take them and they put it in this little thing right here and start hacking away at your foot. I got one of the worst injuries to my feet with one of these one time. And this takes off way too much skin off of the feet. It will cause your client to have cracks in their heels if you take off too much skin. Want to be natural. It's a razor, but there's a brand name. It's called Credo. It's a Credo blade. Okay. If your nail tech is using that on you, run. It's illegal. Okay. They should not be using those in the salon. It is a $500 fine for every time they get caught with one. Okay. So that's going to be your alternative. Okay. To hand filing it and also using a foot paddle would be your alternative to using this. Okay. If your client asks for you to use the razor blade, the answer is no. Okay. Professionals do not use this. They use these in doctors' offices. Okay. You just saw a commercial on the live. Yeah, girl, because we monetized over here. We monetized. We get funds from YouTube. Okay. Oh, hi, Ann. Thanks. Glad to meet you too. Okay. Any questions about pedicuring files, pedicure foot files? Don't use those illegal ones. Okay. Now, some of the materials you're also going to want is toe separators, pedicure slippers, and gloves. All right. Let's use gloves when we are doing pedicures on clients. Now, I will say that once I finish the pedicure itself, I usually take my gloves off after I've completed the pedicure to polish the toes because I am not good at pedicuring, polishing with gloves on. But you've pedicured the toes. I mean, you've cleaned the toes. They've been soaked and all that good stuff. I'm a big fan of using gloves, throughout the pedicure. Now, if you're doing gel on the toes, which I don't recommend 100%, you need to be wearing gloves when you're using gel. Okay. Now let's talk about professional products that you use in pedicuring. Okay. So products for pedicure services are very similar to the same products that you're going to be using with manicuring. All right. But there's some additional products that we use in pedicuring that are not generally used in manicuring. And that's going to be your soaks, your scrubs, your masks, your pedicuring lotions and creams, and callus softener products. Okay. There is no, I want you guys to remember this, there's no additive or special tablet or anything that you can put into the water that makes or takes the place of properly cleaning and disinfecting after each pedicure. Okay. Any chemical that is strong enough to adequately kill pathogens can also be harmful on the skin. So if you're one of those people that thinks that that little blue tab is sterilizing the water and sterilizing your client's feet and sanitizing and all that, it's not, that's not it happening. Okay. You have to disinfect the bowls and everything after before and after every client. Okay. Let me answer some of these questions. Any type of blade we are not licensed to use. That is 100% true. What do you think of a dry pedicure? How do we clean funky feet? Okay, so a dry pedicure is generally done in A&T Advanced Nail Tech Services. For those of you that haven't seen, we're doing the A&T course. I put out the flyer on the 26th of July through the 30th of July. Okay, so we do dry pedicures as an advanced nail technician, and that is an advanced nail technician is a technician who services clients who can't get their feet done in a typical pedicure chair, meaning they're diabetic, they're elderly, and can't get in and out of those chairs. They have high blood pressure. Maybe they're even pregnant to a certain extent that they can't get pedicures anymore. So with A&T usually has like a table that the client lays on, or a chair that lays back like a bed, and you do the dry pedicure on the client's feet. Now, when we say dry pedicure, a dry pedicure includes hot or warm towels to wet the feet. There's no bowl of water. Okay, so I personally prefer to do dry pedicures all the time. Okay, if I had my own suite again, like I used to have, I would have a pedicure chair or chair that lays back so that the client can lay on it. The feet are extended towards my face, and then I'm able to do the pedicure with warm, wet towels. Okay, so it's, when we say dry pedicure, it's not 100% dry, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me see. And that's how and people who get dry pedicures, if because they're usually because they are an A&T type of client, they usually don't even walk most of the time, let alone have funky feet. So why not recommend gel on the toes? I have a whole video on that. I don't want to go down that road. That's a long road. Okay. Yes, they don't remove it correctly. So let's see. Any other questions? All right, let's move into these products that we're going to be using. All right. So first, we're going to have a good foot soak. All right. This is a product that you put in the water to in the water, the bath or the pedicure bath water to soften the skin on the feet. Okay. This is designed to cleanse without being overly harsh on the skin. No, you won't have like soap or bubbles, because when you add that to your pedicure bowl, and you've got, especially if you've got the pedicure thrones that have plumbing, you're going to end up with a bubble fest. Okay, so other ingredients that might be in it will moisturize it, the skin, and might have essential oils in it designed for use specifically in pedicure baths. Okay, so you'll notice that yes, it's a cleanser for the foot, but it doesn't bubble. Okay, so it's a chelating type of soap. So this step it kind of sets the stage for your pedicure, for the rest of your pedicure. So be sure that you are using high quality products, okay? So that you start out on a good note, okay? Another thing that you're going to want to have for your pedicuring services is exfoliating scrub, okay? Usually this is a water-based lotion that contains some type of abrasive as the exfoliating agent, such as like sea sand or ground apricot kernels, pumice, quartz crystals, jojoba beads, all kinds of stuff, right? It could be anything. Okay. But it's a gritty lotion that's massaged into the feet to remove dry, flaky skin, reduce callus. Okay, it can also contain moisturizers to help condition the skin, and you'll want to make sure you're wearing gloves specifically here because repeated use, if you're doing pedicures all day, can cause your skin to be irritated on your hands. Okay, if you've ever done a pedicure without gloves and you use the exfoliant, it can make your hands irritated. It can thin the skin out on your hands as well. Okay, so you want to avoid excessively abrasive scrubs because they can leave tiny invisible scratches on the skin, which can be portals for pathogenic microorganisms to enter. Okay, and that can damage your client's skin and then cause the complete service to break down. Okay, meaning your client is going to end up possibly getting sick or some type of infection. So just be careful with these scrubs, okay? And some of them can clog your pedicure drains. That's another big thing, or your drains in general, okay? So a mask and a foot lotion. So a mask is that concentrated treatment product that we put on the skin. Sometimes it's a mineral clay, have a moisturizing agent, softeners, maybe aromatherapy oils, all types of different beneficial extracts and other ingredients can be inside of a mask. Now, these are used to cleanse and exfoliate, tighten, tone, hydrate, and nourish the skin. And it's applied to the skin and left there for 5 to 10 minutes and allows to allow the penetration of those ingredients. All right. So this is where a lot of times when you're getting a pedicure, the nail tech puts the warm towels around it, or they may wrap it with plastic, right? And that's to hold the heat in and to help it penetrate into the skin. Now, this isn't a lotion. It has to be removed. Okay. Meaning that's why a lot of times they do use the wet towels or warm wet towels on your legs when they do the mask, because then they got to wipe it off. It's not one of those things that you just soaks in and on its own. Okay, so a foot lotion. Now, mind you, a mask is going to be something that is additional. Okay, it's going to be an upgrade to your pedicure service. Now, foot lotions. These are conditioning and moisturizing creams that you put on the skin of the feet. It softens the calluses, and it helps provide slip for when you're doing your massage, okay, during the service. So these can help promote, help make the skin feel better, look better, and moisturize it, okay? So make sure that you're using high quality products here as well, okay? Now, callus softeners. Callus softeners are designed specifically to soften and smooth the thickened calluses on the bottom of your client's feet, on the sides of the toes, anywhere you have a callus or thick skin. And it's applied directly to the callus and left on for a short period of time according to the manufacturer's instructions. Okay, so after that product sits for a little while, it softens the skin and the callus can be easily reduced or removed without too much aggressive filing or too much or any cutting of the skin. Okay, so this is why we don't need to use these types of implements. Okay, because if you have high quality products that are specifically meant for use on callus, you won't need them. Okay. For instance, this is one of my favorite products here. This is Sachet. Okay. Let me put it on the big screen here. This is Sachet. This is a callus remover. And when I tell you, I swear by it. This contains urea, which is a product that is going to help also. It's a compound that's going to help heal the skin from the inside out. Okay, soften the skin. You put this, and it literally tells you it's watery. It's very watery. Okay, when you put this on a little piece of, for instance, let's just say your client has a callus right on the bottom of the hoof part of their foot, right? The bottom. You would put this on here, and you want to wear gloves with this because it's very, very, very good product. Okay. You put this and you lay this on directly on that callus. Let it sit for how many minutes is this? This one, for 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. When you pull this off of that client's foot, you can rub the callus off with your finger, like literally a gloved finger. You can rub it off. Wipe the callus away. Okay. So you didn't get those calluses overnight. A lot of times calluses have to be removed in increments. Okay. Depending on how thick they are, but we do not cut. Anytime you cut, you are making the problem worse. Okay. When you cut, you cause a wound. Even though you don't see blood, your skin is a very, 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 it's an amazing thing, that skin, I swear. It may not bleed, but you're still causing a wound, and your skin reacts by making a scab or a scar, and then that turns into a hard callus. Okay, so we can't cut. Cutting makes it worse. You are the problem if your client has very thick calluses after they leave you. Okay, now some callus removers are very, very, very alkaline and potentially hazardous, so you want to be careful. For that reason, if you're going to be using those, you want to make sure you have on safety glasses in case this splashes in your eye, okay? Because this is very watery, and be sure to wear gloves, okay? Because if you use them improperly, they can cause severe irritation to your client's skin, my eyes, your eyes, hand, all of that, okay? So, any questions about that? Okay. So let's talk about the steps that you need to do in order to establish pedicuring services or business for pedicures in your salon. Okay. So many clients go to the salon for pedicures more often than they even have their hair cut or maybe even their nails, right? You may get your nails done once a month, but during the summer, you want to go every 2 weeks to get a pedicure, right? So a pedicure is a service that you must practice and perfect, because if you continuously educate yourself and stay on top of these new ideas and trends, you will be successful. You could just do pedicures. I tell a lot of my students who they get nervous about not having clients and not making money right out of school. Baby, do pedicures. Okay? Stop being afraid of it. Add it to your clients that you currently have, and you will be fine. Everybody gets pedicures. Okay? I mean, the people who care about their feet, but everybody who gets their nails done gets pedicures. Okay? Now, first and foremost, you're going to want to choose a pedicuring product and also what services you're going to provide. Okay. So, choosing pedicure products is, you can always go with the typical, prepackaged pedicure lines out there. I think one of them is like Boesh. There's several lines that have pedicuring, the little packs already pre-made. But I'll be honest with you, those are pretty cheap. What do they cost? Like $2 for a pack of them for a basic pedicure. So you're not going to get necessarily the most quality products from Sally's, okay? Or honestly, professional products that are made for pedicuring is the way to go. You want to check the quality of the company's educational support. That's very important, because if they don't have education teaching you how to use their product, then I tend to look at it as it's something that anybody can use, right? And we don't want to be selling $60, $70 pedicures using products that your clients can buy at Target. Okay, so compare several different product lines. There are several out there. Foot Logics is a great one. Like I said, this sachet is from CJ's. CJ. Oh God, why does CJ's name just pop out of my head? Center for Beauty. CJ Center for Beauty. She's a distributor. She created that product herself. But there's lots of different lines out here. Yeah, CJ Murray. LCN is a great one. Yes, LCN. There's who is the other one? Not Foot Logics. LCN. Barefoot by LCN. That's true. I can't think of some of the other ones right off the top of my head right now. I've got so many over here. There's that German line, Gawal, Photo Expert. Okay, these are lines that the regular person just can't go and buy. You have to be a professional to purchase them. Okay, so keep those names in mind. And when you're purchasing, if you're going to be doing high quality pedicures, medical pedicures, you're going to want to have some high quality products. All right. Now, your service menu. You want to tailor your foot care menu of services to meet the lifestyle of your clients. Okay. So shorter services are great menu expanders. Okay. For instance, if you want to do like with a basic pedicure, and you want to do it like a lunch menu type or lunchtime pedicure, express pedicure or something like that. That is a lot of people like that, so they can get their stuff done on their lunch break or really quickly. Pedicures, not everybody wants to have the same drawn out long pedicures as everyone else. So not all clients want or need a full pedicure. For instance, some clients may only request a professional nail trimming, right? Men tend to do that. They might say, hey, just cut my toenails. I don't need anything else. I don't even want a foot soak, right? So there you would do that dry pedicure, and you may, offer that as a quick service that takes maybe 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Those are great to add on to your nail services as well as your pedicure services. Others, they may just want a massage, a pampering massage. They may just want to sit in your massage chair, okay, to relieve tension and stress. Some people may just want a polish change, all right? So list these additional services on your menu along with your full pedicures, all right? So creating a service menu is not as easy as you may think. Okay, you need to make sure that you are thinking about these things ahead of time. All right, make sure that each service is different. Like for instance, with your pedicures, if you've got a basic pedicure and you want to add a pedicure, let's say ultimate pedicure, what's the difference? Make sure that you are giving your clients everything they're paying for. One thing that I do like about one of the places that I've gone to get my feet done before is that they, on their service menu, they put, okay, your basic pedicure has a 4-minute massage. So 2 minutes on each leg. And they use a timer. So they hit a timer so that the client knows this is how long because the biggest complaint that people usually have with pedicures is, oh, the massage wasn't long enough. She didn't take her time on my pedicure. Write these things out on your menus. Describe what they're getting, how long the service will be, how much it costs, what's included in that, and then also add upgrades onto your menu as well. Okay, so create that list so that your clients can have a nice, amount of things to choose from. All right. Any questions about that? All right. Now, when you're interacting with your clients during this service, okay, Discuss with your clients their foot health, any upgrades that they might want, products that that they may need to maintain after their pedicure or between visits. Okay, um, meaning upsell and resell and retail products to your clients. Okay, a lot of salons make more of their money on products, retailing products, than they even do with services. Okay, depending upon how much you're selling, so or how many nail techs are in the place. So if clients want to relax, discuss product recommendations for that clients during polishing or when you're closing the service. Okay, don't do it during the service because they want to just sit back and relax. You know, one of the things that I get annoyed with at a salon is if they got kids running around screaming and hollering, if it's really loud in the salon and I'm wanting to get like a relaxing pedicure. We've all been in the Uber with the chatty patty who is like your driver, and you're like, that's why they put the silent do not talk button on the, have y'all noticed that they did that with Uber, put that on there? If you don't want to talk, click this button and they won't talk to you, because some people don't want to talk their whole ride. They want to relax, maybe sleep. All right, same thing with a pedicure. I think we might need to add that to our list of services. Do you want a silent pedicure? I won't talk to you. Offer them refreshments. Maybe suggest that they, sit back and relax. Keep your conversation professional. Don't ever discuss, politics, personal issues, religion, topics that might be offensive. Okay. If you know your client, them personally, they've been coming to you for a long time. They may, you may, talk to them about things that are going on in their life. But in general, you don't talk about your personal issues, politics, and religion. Okay. There should be no distractions for you or the client during the pedicure. Okay. Chris says he offers silent appointments. I think that's great. To grow your clientele and to promote the foot health of your clients, you need to encourage them to schedule regular pedicures. Y'all, there is no such thing as pedicure season. Okay? Does not exist. Pedicures should be an all year round. Okay? Monthly, at least monthly pedicures. Okay? To maintain the health of your client's feet and also your sanity. Okay, because they come during the summer. First thing they want, first day it gets hot outside, if they want to pull their flip flops out, they haven't gotten a pedicure since last summer ended, and now you gotta spend hours and multiple time appointments filing down these people's feet. Okay, to get them in order. No, pedicures are definitely should be done regularly. Okay, monthly at least. Okay, now scheduling, and this is something that a lot of nail techs do not know is a part of their state board regulations. Okay, you want to, when it comes to scheduling your clients, advise your clients, and maybe put this on your website or your booking site. Do not shave your legs for 48 hours prior to their appointment. Now, I know, because I was once a client, and I know what it's like you're like, oh my God, my legs are hairy. I do not want this girl to have to rub my hairy legs. Listen, we should be rubbing the hairy legs, because invisible shaving scrapes, also known as micro traumas, can put a client at risk for infections. Okay, micro traumas is the act of causing tiny unseen openings in the skin that may allow microbes and pathogens to enter. So if you shave your legs prior to, the day you come to your appointment or the day before, then your legs have these little micro traumas in it. If you don't think so, try rubbing alcohol on your legs after you shave them. Freshly shaved. All right. So if the client has shaved, offer a basic waterless pedicure. Okay. so that the services that services only their feet. All right. And remind them we can't, if you've shaved your legs, I can't do a full pedicure on you. That you don't have to cancel the appointment, but you can still do the dry pedicure. Okay, meaning wet warm towels, or reschedule the pedicure. Reschedule that pedicure if it involves a soap scrub or any manipulation of the legs. Okay. Single-use slippers can be provided for any client who forgets to wear sandals. Encourage your clients to wear sandals. Those slippers do not last 5 steps out of the front door. Okay. They usually don't even last to the reception desk when you pay. Okay. So encourage them to wear flip-flops to their appointment. Okay. Chris says in South Carolina, you're supposed to have a sign posted in the salon as you are in Georgia. Okay. It needs to be posted, but I promise you, most of you have never heard that you are not allowed to or not supposed to shave your legs 48 hours and we're not supposed to service you. Anybody even asked you that? I'm sure it's probably never even happened. Okay. If asked you if you shaved your legs. So, back to the slippers, ill-fitting slippers, disposable slippers or sandals, they can be a trip hazard for your client. So, offer to help them, if they didn't wear sandals, get to their car or something. Just be careful. Those are usually, like I said, only good for the polishing phase, and then they can put their sandals on. I actually polish the client's toenails with their sandals on, okay, flip-flops on, so that I don't have to worry about ruining the polish of putting those slippers on. Okay, so basic pedicure. Let's talk about scheduling. How are we going to design this service in our service list? Okay, a basic pedicure is 30 to 45 minutes. Anything more than that, and it includes a foot massage. Okay. Anything more than that, you're getting into, first of all, why are you doing it longer than that? Because again, this is a basic pedicure. Anything other than that would be considered a spa pedicure. So this is usually going to last either 1 to 1.5, okay, 1 hour to 1.5 hours. It includes a leg massage, okay? So we teach that a basic pedicure only includes the foot massage, but I do the leg, okay, as well. But a spa pedicure when we're teaching it, it includes the foot and the leg. Now, you can do what you want, but any other pampering treatments can be added to a spa pedicure. It will be considered a spa pedicure. So that's when you go to the salon. Anything other than a basic pedicure, like an ultimate pedicure or a deluxe pedicure or a volcano pedicure, a jelly pedicure, all of those are considered upgrades and a spa pedicure. Okay. Everything else is basic. Now, trying to stay on schedule is important. Okay. Clients dislike waiting for a nail technician that's running late. Okay. Nobody likes to wait on you because you were late. All right. And because your client before them was late. All right. There has to be, staying on schedule was one of the things that I was very proud of when it came, when it was time for you to do, and I always told my clients, don't come too early. Don't come, because you're going to sit and wait. I'm not going to get done early. I time everything that I do, and if I can't do it in the time allotted, I don't do it, because I don't want to make anyone else ruin their day. Okay, because I run my day on a schedule. Okay, so it's your responsibility to know where you should be in the service at a specific time and adjust your services accordingly. So when you perform the consultation and evaluate the client's feet, you can determine then if you need more time. All right. Inform that client that you will do the best you can with the time that you have, allotted, but they may need to schedule another pedicure in the future to improve the condition of their feet. For instance, if you've never had that client in your chair before, they come in and they haven't had a pedicure since last year, you may not have enough time to do the basic pedicure that they they booked a basic pedicure, but now they need a callus treatment. So you may not have enough time to do that with what they scheduled. So you need to, in the consultation, let them know, hey, you're gonna have to come back and get this done. So it's very important that you do these consultations with your client, okay? Or if they have questions about or be reachable so that you can consult with them over the phone or via FaceTime or a picture or something, okay? So, and Chris said here, if you're new, maybe time yourself during your service to keep on track. So I literally just bought on Amazon some little stopwatches or timers to put on each pedicure station so that the students can time themselves now. They need to time themselves, and it's a requirement that they set the timer and pay attention to where they're at so that they don't run over. Okay. So by sticking and also remember, you still have to have 10 minutes allotted to disinfect your pedicure station if you're using barbicide and things of that nature. So stick to that appointment time. For it to be a 30 to 45 minute service, you need to allot at least 55 minutes to an hour, okay, for that service. So if the feet are in bad shape, you you work to get them in optimal condition in only one service, their feet may become irritated or painful. Okay, so the better option is to sell the client some type of home care product to improve the condition of their feet and reschedule them for another service in 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, these are called series pedicures. Okay, so the basic pedicure, this is a business tip for you guys, includes that foot massage only. That's what we teach. All right, no leg massage for 2 reasons. The first is time constraints, and most salons schedule less time for basic pedicures, so the massage must be shorter. Second, the higher cost pedicures need to be more special, right? And to be perceived as more special and worth the higher price, a lot of salons add the leg massage to their spa pedicures. Again, this is up to you if you want to do that. As it pertains to the leg massage and the foot massage being separated, I always do the leg, and I just feel like, why not? Okay, but it's up to you. So we talked about these series pedicures. What is that? It's a set of appointments sold to the client to resolve a particular issue. Okay, meaning, for instance, if they have calluses, you want to explain the negative impact that might occur to the client's feet by them doing a speedy removal, meaning taking off too much skin at one time. All right. So you'll want to point out when a client comes in that has really thick calluses that weekly callus reduction appointments weekly, okay, for 4 to 6 weeks will decrease the frequency of calluses that they have, that monthly pedicures will keep them. And then after that, monthly pedicures can keep those calluses at bay. Okay. So some will require more than 6 weeks, but explain how many weeks you think it will take and suggest a series pedicure. Okay. So the entire pedicure is not performed during service appointments or series appointments. Okay. Meaning a series appointment is a weekly treatment, okay, of a soak, application of the callus reduction product, a set time for the instructions to allow that callus removal to work, and then a reasonable reduction of the callus, application of the lotion, and dismissal, okay? And about half an hour is scheduled for each one of these, and the price should be less than a full pedicure. Meaning with series pedicures, you're not going to do a full pedicure every single time. you're going to do the callus reduction until you get it to the point, the foot to the point where they can now get the full pedicure. So the client should purchase some type of glycolic or lactic acid lotion to use on their feet every day, as well as a lotion containing urea. Okay, to use to soften and on their skin, to use on their feet to soften and prevent the scaly condition from returning. So this is your opportunity to upsell your client with one of those professional products that you as a professional can buy at a discounted rate, and then turn around and resell it to your client as a treatment they should use every day to make your job easier and also make their feet keep their feet in the condition that that last pedicure, series pedicure, it left them in. Okay. Now, scaly feet is another condition that can require weekly treatments. Now scaly feet can sometimes be a fungal foot, so you want to be sure that the client has tested for negative for a fungus. Okay, and once they do, they can return for 3 to 6 weekly treatments, foot exfoliation treatments that could include scrubs, callus reduction, and a mask. Okay, and we have retail products that you can sell to your clients to maintain the condition after you have treated it. Okay. Any questions about series pedicures? Now, elderly clients, they can still be serviced. Just because someone is elderly doesn't mean they don't want to get their feet done. Okay, just because they're elderly does not mean they can't have services done. They may just have to have them done in a different way. So lots of elderly clients, many of them need assistance, okay, with certain things because they either, or with getting pedicures or having them done routinely because they can't reach or see their feet. All right. Maybe they can't even squeeze nail clippers in order to trim their nails. And can you imagine not being able to see and trying to trim your own nails? Like, you can cause some major injuries here. So as a nail technician, you need to be offering pedicure services for this segment of the population when creating your service menu. Now, this means that if you're going to be servicing elderly clients, you don't necessarily have to be an A&T or a medical nail tech, but you do need to be aware of their conditions so that you can service them properly without injuring them. Okay, so you may have a service just called toenail trimming for your elderly clients. Most of them, especially if they're, a lot of times you'll have clients come in and their children are bringing them and they might be in a nursing home. Nothing wrong with them. They just can't get them in the chair. They don't know how to clip toenails properly, so they're bringing them to you. That client may or may not even care about anything else other than getting their toenails trimmed. Okay, meaning no pedicure, no polish, no nothing. They don't even care. All right, so you don't have to be an A&T to trim someone's toenails who is elderly. Being elderly is not an illness. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. We're not talking about A&T type procedures here. Just the fact that they're old does not make them no longer able to get pedicures. All right, so some salons sell manicures and pedicures as a package, or single services, or as a package, such as a series of 6 services for X amount of dollars. Okay, packages are a great way to get your clients to prepay for their services. Number one, I mean, I do it with my waxing. I pay every year. They have this where I get waxed. They have a package deal where buy 9 get 12, but you pay in advance. So I pay for 9 wax services and then I get 12. Well, they're banking on the fact that I might miss one. Clients always miss at least one. And that may not even use it. How many your gym serve membership is a package, and half of us don't even know. I'm guilty. You get paid for it every month and don't even go. So packages usually involve some type of discount. For example, clients receive a free pedicure when they purchase 12. The discount is the amount of one pedicure, okay? Or each service is less than what they would pay if they only purchased one, okay? Market theme services for holidays and special events such as Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, prom, weddings, birthdays, stuff like that, okay? And here's a little tip, okay? Something that can add money to your pockets. Charge extra for add-ons to services such as paraffin wax and nail art, okay? Services have dollar value, all right? Especially when you consider the time, the product expense, skill level, and equipment that you use. So always be upfront about additional service costs, okay? So if a client decides to indulge and get extra, always charge appropriately, okay? So what I mean by that is, if you're saying you have a basic pedicure either does or does not include gel polish, right? You may be the type of nail salon that or nail tech that does not charge extra for gel for regular polish, but you charge extra for gel, okay? If it's something that costs extra, put it on your service list so clients are, know exactly what they're going to be paying. We all see these videos and memes and pictures where clients are like, "Oh my God, I paid $300. I don't even know what I paid for." And then you should know and be clear about what the fee is going to be before the client is finished with the service, or before you actually perform the service, okay? Because they will complain if it ends up, because it adds up, okay? Now let's talk about the benefits of massage when it comes to pedicuring, okay? Because we do the same massage techniques with manicure, so this is a little bit of a review. And Chris says something that's so true. This is a business, not a charity. Your time is valuable. Okay. That's a good question, Destiny. I will answer that in a second about late fees. Okay. Massage. The focus of a massage performed during a manicure or pedicure is purely relaxation. Okay. This is not a medical massage. I don't want you guys to think about that think about it in that way. But foot massage, it induces a high degree of relaxation and stimulates blood flow. So we have to be aware of the areas of the feet and legs where the client is enjoying the massage the most, to make it, get that tip. Okay. So you also need to be aware of your client's health. You want to meet any precautionary requirements, meaning if they have high blood pressure, you should not be massaging their feet. Okay. Offer different types of massages that are relaxing to the client but not harmful to them. Okay. There are different types of massage techniques out there that that we do as advanced nail techs or medical nail techs that you barely even touch. It's called a feather massage. Okay. Rocky said, if you want a longer massage, then go see a masseuse. For real. It really should. The massage should not be 20 minutes. Okay. Now, if you want to offer just a foot massage as an add-on to your client, to your service list, by all means, go ahead. But I mean, you're right. It shouldn't be taking a long time. All right. So the most enjoyable massages out there are rhythmic. They slow and sliding with the fingers and the palms connected to the client as much as possible, maintaining touch connection at all times with the client throughout the massage, and sliding the hands from one location to the next with very smooth transitions. Okay, so no abrupt movements. All right. You want to be sure that when you're doing the foot massage, when you're holding that foot, okay, You grasp that foot between the thumb and the fingers at the mid-tarsal area, meaning you're holding your foot, the foot where your thumb is right on the ball of their foot, and these four fingers are holding the top of their foot, okay? While the fingers are wrapped around, the entire foot. This accomplishes a couple of things. It locks the foot into place, giving the nail technician control of its movements. And it also is a gentle but firm grip. It has a calming effect on that client and overcomes apprehension in those who are either ticklish or they don't really like having their feet touched. I am one of those nail techs. I really get annoyed when clients are like, oh my God, I'm so ticklish, and they're pulling back. Like, why are you letting me touch your feet if you're this ticklish, right? But they do. They'll sit in front of you and they will just be ticklish. One can't hardly let you touch their foot, and their feet are flinching and they almost kick you in the face. It never fails. But holding the foot in that way will take away some of the ticklish feeling that they get when they get their feet touched. So avoid holding the foot too lightly or too loosely, because it can cause a ticklish sensation in many people. And most clients can tolerate a firm, comfortable grip, even if they are ticklish. Okay, so that's just a little tip for y'all. Now, reflexology is a thing, right? It's a very advanced technique, reflexology. But this is a practice based on the belief that working on certain areas of the foot, thank you, Jen, certain areas of the foot, hands and feet can reduce tension in other areas of the body and organs of the body, okay? So you've probably seen a reflexology chart where it says, oh, touch here for headaches, massage here on the foot if you have, belly aches and stress and all this stuff. Okay. So, if you believe in that and all, there is, ways you can study that. We don't teach reflexology in nail school. I don't know anything about it, to be honest. But it is one of those things that it can be learned and added on. Okay. It's very easy to create like specialty pedicures by just adding masks and treatments and other special applications after the massage and before the polishing. Okay. And reflexology would be one of those. But always keep enough lotion or oil on that foot to allow sufficient slip when you're massaging. If you must apply more lotion during massage, keep one hand on the leg or the foot and reach for the pump or whatever, however you put it on, to maintain that contact with the skin, the client's skin. Now, we only have just a couple more slides and then we're done, ladies and gentlemen. I know my students are ready to enjoy the rest of their Sunday. So let's talk specifically about clients with special health considerations. Okay. Now this is getting into the ANT because I am offering the ANT course on July the 26th through the 30th. You have to sign up for that. There is a link in the bio for that, for you to sign up for it. We do have a payment plan for it, but if you are interested in becoming an ANT, this is why you would want to become one. All right. Sensitive clients with special health considerations are going to require you to have special knowledge to be able to do their services. Okay. So clients with special health considerations. So during the client consultation, ask your client if there's any health concerns that you should know about before performing a pedicure. Okay. Reassure the clients that the information that they are sharing with you is confidential. Okay. And it's only going to be used to provide services that are the most effective for them. Okay. So make sure you keep your clients' private information in the most ethical place of your salon if you're writing it down or taking notes for it. So Clients with limited mobility, meaning they're either in a wheelchair or maybe they are in a walker. And remember, these people don't always have to be old. Everyone that's in a wheelchair is not old. Everyone who uses a walker is not old. Maybe they had a surgery or something and they're, they can't, they're not as mobile as they used to be until they heal. So be sure that you clear obstacles for these clients so they don't have any tripping hazards. And if your client cannot be physically moved into a pedicure chair, this is where you would want to have a footsie bath or a portable water basin with a warm water available to do a dry pedicure if they are, or to do a dry pedicure if they're a candidate for that. So as with any pedicuring client, remember to check between their toes and be sure that they don't have any lesions or anything like that. People who can't get down there to their feet for whatever reason or see their feet for whatever reason can have issues in between the toes because they can't reach down there. They're probably not lotioning them properly. They're probably not cleaning them properly. And if there are cracks or lesions, we cannot work on that client. So make sure you're checking during your consultation and also in the beginning of your pedicure. So clients who experience involuntary movements, what does that mean? Tremors, okay? Or involuntary movements due to a neurological issue. Maybe they have Tourette's, or maybe they've had a stroke. So to prepare for those people when you're giving them a pedicure, ensure that the client's whole leg is supported, including behind the knees and ankles, because if they jerk or move suddenly, you want to just be sure that they don't slide out of the chair or slide into the bowl. I mean, or hurt themselves. So clients should not need to support their own legs during the service. You should be supporting the client's legs during the service. Okay. So clients with altered vision, be clear with them, describe the color, give examples. It's better to approach choosing a color by asking how they want to be seen, rather than if just because a person is blind doesn't mean they don't care what color they have on, okay? Or if they can't see well due to, just age or whatever, or they wear glasses for whatever reason they can't see. Be very clear with those clients, okay? What you're doing and when you're doing it. Don't startle them. Clients with painful joints. So there are many reasons why a client may have painful joints, okay? The most well-known is going to be arthritis. So if a client mentions painful joints during their consultation, handle them gently. Never apply pressure directly to the joints. Do not manipulate the joints during the massage portion of the service, and always check with the client throughout the service to make sure that you're not causing any pain. Okay. Sometimes clients will come in with caregivers, and a client who has a caregiver, you need to make room for them. Okay. And accommodate them as well, and also accept any assistance that they're willing to provide. Okay. If for some reason they have someone with them and they're like, oh, I can pick her up and put her in the chair, just be very, very careful with clients like that, that have to be moved from a wheelchair or want to be moved from a wheelchair to a chair, because you better have some insurance in case they fall. Okay. I personally, if they're in a wheelchair, they're staying in the wheelchair. Okay. We're going to accommodate them around their wheelchair. Okay. So clients with lowered immunity. What are those types of clients? Clients with lowered immunity could be clients who are HIV positive, clients who are who have full-blown AIDS. They might be chemotherapy patients. They may be on a medication that they're taking right now that causes them to have lowered immunity. And some of you are probably like, AIDS, HIV. I'm not servicing people with HIV and AIDS. Yes, you are. You do. You have, and you will, because nobody's going to tell you. You'll be lucky if a client tells you that they have these problems. So How do we service them? Well, if you are doing exactly what you should be, following your strict infection control practices that we learned about in the infection control chapter, a client with lowered immunity should be safe in your establishment. So we should have nothing to worry about. All right. So Rocky says, yep, a client that came to me with that had MS and could not get into the pedicure chair. I bet you kept them in their chair. That was probably the best option. Okay. Norman Max says, I love this. I have fibromyalgia and had to stop going to nail salons. You know, for a long time, people thought fibromyalgia was not a real thing, like it was a mental thing. And, you know, I know people that have it and it is not. They be in pain just for no reason. It's just a weird thing. But I feel sorry for you not being able to go get your nails done because of your fibromyalgia. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me go back. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, remember to floss, okay? Meaning with these particular types of patients, clients, look between the toes at the beginning of the service to see if there's any buildup between them. And if there is, be sure to soak the nails longer with a softening product containing urea, okay, before trying to clean between them. Again, these patients or clients that are patients, and they may be patients somewhere, you just have to be very careful with them, especially in between the toes, because a lot of times, especially if they are diabetics, and if they are diabetic, it doesn't mean you can't do their nails or do their feet. It just means that you have to be extra careful, okay? Extra careful. Use disposable items as much as possible, or a washcloth to gently clean between their toes after soaking. Because with these types of clients, you're going to be doing a ANT or medical pedicure, aka a dry pedicure. Okay. So when you're performing pedicuring services on clients with certain health considerations, don't use anything sharp. Okay. Don't use any sharp tools or implements. Some clients may have thinner skin and difficulty with blood clotting and or lower immunity. Okay, so you don't want to cause them injuries. So never nip any cuticle. Okay, be very careful to remove cuticle gently without nippers. It's so much better to use a curette underneath the nail than anything sharp to remove any non-living tissue from the nail plate. Okay. Be sure to use fine grit abrasives on the nail tips, the free edges when you are cutting the nails or filing the nails. Nothing that's going to accidentally cut their skin. And be careful when you're clipping the client's nails, and always look underneath right before you clip them. Because there can be skin that's attached to that center of the nail, and cutting straight across can also cut the skin underneath. Okay. So, and they, depending on their health consideration or health in general, they may not heal as well as others. Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate all that, all the gifts. All right. Paraffin, I would be very careful using that on clients with special health considerations. They may be more sensitive to heat due to the loss of sensation to their feet or extremities. And so you can use it, but you would want to let that wax cool longer before applying it than you would with a client with normal health. Okay. Also, when it comes to massage, before beginning massage on any client, you should be asking permission. Can I go ahead and massage? Can I touch you now? And proceed. Ask if there's any concerns that you may need to know about before you start giving the massage, and be very gentle with clients with health problems, okay? Specific health problems. Don't bend or flex the knees, ankles, or toes if they do have arthritis, okay? And then when applying lotion or oils to your client's legs and feet at the end of the service, begin just below the knee and gently smooth the lotion towards the feet. just make it easier for yourself. Okay, so you're not doing any aggressive up and down legs, feet. Start at the top, work your way down. Okay. Norma says, I'm currently in school and in the process of opening my nail studio. My number one goal in mind is to specialize in people with chronic pain. That is a good business model. You'll definitely have clients. And congratulations to you. All right, so let's talk about disinfection practices with pedicures, okay? Because this is very important. Very important. This is going to be all over your state board if you are taking the 2026 state board. It's the importance of disinfection practices with pedicuring services. Number one, you must uphold and follow specific criteria and steps to ensure that you are disinfecting and properly disinfecting and following infection control procedures. So improper, rushed, or careless cleaning of pedicure chairs and baths can lead to health safety concerns for your clients, okay? And it is your responsibility and of the salon and also the individual performing the procedure to ensure that proper disinfection procedures are followed. What do I mean when I say that? If you are working in a nail salon and there's 1,000 other people working in there, if you know that the girl that sits next to you or everybody else around you doesn't properly disinfect their chairs after their services, you may want to disinfect the chair before you do the service, just to be safe. You may also want to have a chair that is specifically just for you, that you clean, that you keep up with, or maybe your own personal bowls. I personally, if I was working in a large nail salon that I was worried about these chairs and things not being cleaned properly, I would just always clean a chair ahead of time, before and after, so that my clients were safe. Or I would also get me a good, my own personal disinfectant. This is Rejuvenate wipes. These don't take 10 minutes to disinfect a surface. It only takes 30 seconds. Okay, so these are a little pricey, but if you were working in a salon where you had other nail techs working that weren't as clean as you, I would get me invest in something like this so that every time I sat down at a station that wasn't necessarily my station or a chair that wasn't necessarily my chair, I would wipe this chair down and everything with the 30-second disinfecting wipes. Not all disinfectants are 30 seconds. That one is. Okay, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Some are 2 minutes. Some are 10 minutes. Okay, we don't have time to do 10 minutes in between each client if you're going to be doing it before and after because you're worried about somebody. So get you some good disinfecting wipes. Okay, but it is your responsibility to make sure that that client is in a safe environment. Always use an EPA registered hospital grade disinfectant that is a broad spectrum bactericidal, virucidal, fungicidal, and if you're using these, they are tuberculocidal as well. Okay. Some states require that salons keep a log and record the time and date that each disinfecting procedure was performed. Always check with your state, though, okay, to make sure you're doing exactly what your state says. Me personally, Georgia probably has the strictest rules and regulations. If you do like we do, you're going to be fine. Okay. Now, so after all of this that we talked about today, you should have a clear understanding of implements, materials, products needed to perform pedicure services. You should know about multi-use, single-use implements that we use in pedicure services, to include toenail clippers, nippers, curettes, rasps, things like that. Professional pedicure products, you should be familiar with a couple of brands we just talked about, and also what they are: foot soaks, exfoliants, scrubs, masks, lotions, softeners. Also, the steps to starting a pedicure business. You guys should have an understanding of that, to include your service menus, interacting with clients during the service, scheduling, designing the service, staying on schedule, offering those service series pedicures, okay, elderly clients, and then selling these things to your clients. Now, you should also understand your benefits to massage, being relaxation, okay? And as a professional, it is so important to be sensitive to clients that have special health considerations, okay? And then your disinfecting practices. So with all of that being said, does anybody have any questions before I leave this live? My students, you all know what you have to work on this week. And when you get to school next week, what you're going to be doing, pedicuring, I'm assuming. Okay. And I am going to drop an extra live in this week. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to drop an extra live in this week on the anatomy and physiology, okay, of the hands, nails, and feet. The hands, feet, legs, and arms. Okay. So to get you guys state board ready for state board. Rocky says, I love these refresher courses. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. And y'all make sure that you follow us over on YouTube. You can watch these replays. Okay. Also, I did want to let everyone know that we do have a night class that's going to be offered this summer. The night class will be starting this month on the 26th, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Okay. Tuesdays and Thursday nights starting at 4:30, so basically 5 to 10. Okay. And we also have our A&T course scheduled. Okay. That is scheduled for July the 26th through the 30th. If you are interested, that is also, the link is in the bio for that as well. Okay. And then for those of you, just a little reminder, Nail Tech of the Smokies event is coming up. I will be going. If anyone else is going, see you there. Okay. Nail Tech of the Smokies, that's going to be in Tennessee. If you're interested in any information on that, just go to their website, Nail Tech Event of the Smokies. I am not doing Premiere this year. Premiere is has gone to the wayside. I mean, they just not doing what they used to do, and it's just too much, spend too much money, and it's not worth it. They just letting anybody and everybody in that place. So Nail Tech of the Event of the Smokies is where it's at. It's all nails, only open to licensed nail techs, cosmetologists, and that's it. Okay, so happy Mother's Day to everyone. Thank you, Wanna Be Natural. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. Happy Mother's Day to everyone here on TikTok Live and on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and close out this stream on YouTube. Y'all have a wonderful Mother's Day, and I will see you students next week in class. Okay?